Hello everybody, welcome back to the footy recap. Morgan Rogers for £170 million fixed fee to Chelsea. Here we go by Fabrizio Romano. Frankly, an absolutely outrageous sum of money for Morgan Rogers, but let's face it, the English tax is in full force this summer and transfer fees are absolutely crazy right now. Elliot Anderson for £130 million is frankly a massive overpay as well. And where does this leave us in regards to how transfer fees are going to happen from now on? Are they just going to keep going up forever? Or are we going to get to the point where transfer fees just become so ridiculous that something has to happen for them to come down? Because right now, things are getting pretty crazy in terms of the amount of money that people are having to pay. Morgan Rogers, as we know, is an excellent player. Had a good World Cup, had an excellent season for Villa again last season. Now moving to Chelsea for £117 million. An absolutely crazy amount of money, frankly, that I think is, realistically, he's a £70 million player, maybe £80 million, isn't he, realistically? But because of the English tax, like I said, and of course the crazy transfer fees that we are being subject to recently, this does seem like a good deal for both parties, though. I think Chelsea, while they have overpaid, I think they got their man, and he's the kind of player that will improve their team. Meanwhile, I think Villa have done very well with the transfer fee, and it's clear that they've been reinvesting into their squad for another Champions League campaign again. They've already got Manzambi, João Gomez. Looks like they're going to get Estepinian over the line as well, being linked with another midfielder in Paulinho, who could also come in on loan. They've just got Garnacho on loan as well, who's an obligation to buy next year. So they're probably going to get 4 or 5 players in for the same price as Morgan Rogers going out, which in reality you have to say is probably good business in Villa's regard, because ultimately they do need a thicker, fuller squad for next season, because last season they did incredibly well in the Premier League, but they fell off once they got about 3 or 4 midfielder injuries, and it looks like they are trying to add more numbers and more bodies into their team in general. Obviously, I think Manzambi is their record signing. It looks like a great player, looked really, really good for Freiburg last year, and he also looked really good for Switzerland in the World Cup. Not to mention Garnacho could end up being a shrewd signing since he's only on loan. I personally don't think Garnacho is all that, but you never know. It says Unai Emery really wanted him as well. So in regards to this Morgan Rogers deal, Chelsea look like they have got their man. They've got someone who will obviously improve their team. He'll probably start every single game, provide some more threats, some more general good quality play for Chelsea. Chelsea are a weird team. They just seem to buy players and they just all end up looking very average, in a similar way really to Man United have been for the last 10 or 15 years now. But I do feel like Chelsea with Xabi Alonso, they could end up being quite good actually. And with all the turnovers in the Premier League next year, you never know which teams might come out on top. Obviously, pretty much every top 6 team has got a new manager apart from Arteta at Arsenal. And they may well have a lull after winning the league and, I would say scraping the league with their tactics. They're not going to get away with playing like that again next year, are they? And pretty much all the other top teams have got new managers. Loads of manager turnovers in the Premier League, including Xabi Alonso at Chelsea, who has got Morgan Rogers in as his marquee signing. In my opinion, I think, like I said, this is a deal that suits both parties. I think Morgan Rogers drops into their team. He's obviously going to provide a very good threat. He's probably going to be even better in a team with better players around him. Chelsea obviously have a very good squad anyway. Aston Villa, I think he was overachieving in that team, although in fairness to Villa, they have played very well in the past few seasons. I think Emery is an incredible manager, but obviously it's a step up to go to Chelsea. We're going to have to see whether he settles, whether he actually fits into the team, whether Xabi Alonso can get the best out of him. There's plenty of question marks, and that fee is obviously going to demand like 15 goals and 20 assists next season, otherwise people will say he's a flop. But in reality, I think Morgan Rogers a very good signing for anyone, really. And bizarre that he went to Chelsea for me personally. Everyone's saying he was going to go to Arsenal, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here we go to Chelsea. Clearly that one was done in the background for a while. Arsenal thinking that they were just going to get him. And then he said, I went to the biggest club in London, which was Chelsea, which I thought was funny as well. So in reality, it's clear that he's got some kind of grudge against Arsenal. He's gone to Chelsea. I thought that was a bit of a strange move, but when you look at the team that Chelsea are probably going to be building, they've obviously got Xabi Alonso. They're probably going to get more out of their players. I think Morgan Rogers, he wanted to go there with Cole Palmer as well, who he's proper mates with, isn't he? Let's be fair. So the reality is, it probably makes a lot of sense for him and for Chelsea. And like I said, for Aston Villa, £117 million fixed fee up front is fantastic business for them. After only buying him for, 10 or 15 million pounds 2 years ago, 10xing their money in 2 years on a player, you'd be mad to say no, wouldn't you? Absolutely mad. So obviously they've sold him now. And they've already been bringing in players. They might get 4 or 5 signings with that money to thicken out their squad. Obviously, they lost Digne as well. They're replacing him with Estupiñán by the looks of things. Manzambi looks like a really good signing. He could be the Morgan Rogers replacement. Garnacho being brought in as a winger option. Looking like Gesson hasn't come back to Villa. He's gone somewhere else, I believe. And they brought João Gomes in as a replacement for Tielemans. Paulinho could come in on loan as a replacement for the injured Onana. So the reality is there's quite a few players coming in for Villa there to strengthen their squad. And they are starting to look a little bit stacked, actually, Aston Villa. I feel like they've been there or thereabouts for the past few seasons of being a very, very good team. Obviously, they won the Europa League last season. My dad's a Villa fan and he's been chuffed with how they've been playing recently. I've watched a lot of their games last season and I thought they played really well. I thought they've been playing well for quite a few seasons now, and Emery has been consistently improving the team, the output, the performances, and obviously the results. Getting the trophy last season was a massive deal for Aston Villa. The situation at Villa right now is looking very promising. The future is looking bright and rosy, and they are bringing in lots of new exciting signings. It's going to be interesting to see how Emery does put his team together next season, but I did say to my dad, if they can more or less keep their team together for next season and then maybe add a few players, they're going to be a very good team. Emery is a very good manager. I love Unai Emery. I think he's an excellent manager. He's got an absolute ton out of the Aston Villa team, and he's improved basically every player that he's got his hands on, let's be fair. As of right now, it looks as though Unai Emery is going into next season with 5, maybe even 6 new signings to work with, strengthening all those key areas of the team. More pace on the wings up front. Manzambi can play left and right wing, as can Garnacho. Manzambi probably more of the Morgan Rogers replacement, in my opinion, kind of a second striker, floating attacker kind of role. Garnacho more of an out-and-out winger. We'll see whether or not he does have an impact, but Unai Emery wanted him, and ultimately Villa have got to trust their manager on the players that he would think would improve his team. João Gomes, I thought, was one of Wolves' best players last season, even though Wolves were quite poor. I thought João Gomes was an excellent player, very bustly, full of energy, full of that life and that verve and that, the ability to make tackles, to turn the ball over, to run with the ball. Things that Villa maybe lacked a little bit last season, being a little bit limited in their double pivot options. Obviously, losing Tielemans for Villa is a big blow as well, but I think João Gomes will be able to come in and contribute something similar. Probably not the same profile of quality as Tielemans, but I do feel like he does have the potential to fill in there in terms of adding some energy and some bustle into the team for Villa. Obviously, they're going to be in the Champions League, so they're going to need a lot of players as well. Overall, this Morgan Rogers one, a crazy fee, let's be honest. But I think all parties have got what they wanted. Chelsea have overpaid, but they've got their man. Villa have reinvested into their squad for a Champions League campaign. I think everyone wins. What do you think about all this, guys? I do appreciate you watching. Please do like and subscribe, leave a comment, get your thoughts in down below, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.